morning. This is the Pinstripe Chronicles. This is your host, Donald. Uncle Tats will be with us soon. Just wanted to say a big hello to everybody in the chat. Let's get everybody in the chat. Let's hit the like button. Let's share it out. Let's talk some ball. I'm going to cut right to the chase. That yesterday was a disgrace. I don't think there's a better word for it. That was an absolute disgrace. What's going on in Peach Mall? That was a disgrace. There's simply just too many holes in this Yankee lineup. There's too many holes. It's as simple as that. They don't have a leadoff hitter, and the bottom third of the lineup is a complete travesty. And you can't win championships that way. You can't win championships when half your lineup doesn't hit. Aaron Judge has been great for so long that we forget that he's human. Well, he's very human right now. He's looking terrible at the plate. There was actually a period where he had 7 straight strikeouts. That's unheard of for Aaron Judge. So, but I mean, obviously, it's much deeper than him. He exacerbates the problem. We have no righty power outside of Aaron Judge and Big G. Well, Big G's injured and Aaron Judge isn't hitting, and there's no righty power coming. And it's just such an easy matchup for other teams that have some half decent pitchers. It's so easy. Spencer Jones being demoted is not a surprise. He didn't look ready. I think we can all agree on that. Trent Grisham was a terrible, terrible overpay. Austin Wells is a disaster. Absolute disaster. Like, what has happened here? The catching situation is a disaster. But this is exactly what I've been telling you guys all winter. I was like, this catcher situation makes no sense. And Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman just completely ignored it. And now you got 2 lefty catchers that are just about as bad as each other. It's absolutely shameful, the situation that we're in terms of catching. Absolutely shameful. There's no excuse for it. There's just too many easy outs right through the lineup. You go through it. I mean, Volpe has been better, but he's an easy out. So that's shortstop. Third base is an easy out. McMahon's hitting a little bit better, but he's been below Mendoza line hitter. He's an easy out. Jazz has been an easy out for basically all year. Rice is the only exception. Austin Wells, easy out. Grisham, easy out. And then that leaves Bellinger and Judge. And obviously the DH situation without Stanton is a mess as well. It's just bad. It's just bad. We're going to say a little Luca in the chat. What's going on, Luca? Yo!
What is up?
What's happened to our offense, man? What has happened to our offense?
Oh, Donald, they've regressed back to the mean. First of all, everybody, happy Friday. Hope all is well. Hope it's nice and bright in your area because it's cloudy outside. But regardless, Donald, they've regressed back to the mean. We've pointed this out all off season.
Mm-hmm.
The holes in the bullpen, the holes in the lineup. We're having only 2-3 good hitters. I mean, Aaron Judge is in a pretty bad slump right now. But the rest of the lineup can't do pretty much anything. I mean, Ben Rice has been cooking all season, which is fine. Bellinger's been good. But McMahon, garbage. Wells, as I was just coming on here, you were talking about the 2 lefty catchers and how they've both been trash. Absolutely no reinforcement to the catcher position. So you're now going to play the catcher position offensively with one arm behind your back. Now, I don't think they're even good enough defensively to overcome how bad they are offensively. Trent Grisham has been horrible. They just sent Spencer Jones back down. So this, once again, people were praising this offense and all these different things, but like they looked at it in a vacuum.
Yes,
they looked at it as okay. As I said, in the offseason, we're like, this offense has a lot of what ifs. And it's like, Cashman couldn't help himself because it's not only that you built a bad lineup, You built a bad bullpen as well, and you're
Oh,
taxing them so early on in the season. Tampa is going to shred us this weekend because they could score runs. The Yankees can't do that consistently. The Yankees might be able to run into like a 6-run, 5-run game every so often, but think about it, Donald. There was like a certain record. There's like a certain record. The Yankees were on a hot streak or whatever. I'll have to pull up the tweet just for the specifics, but the Yankees are 30-21 right now. They're 9 games over 500. They were way more over 500 at one point in the season.
So I want to go back to your earlier point where they looked at this offense in a vacuum, and I definitely want to establish that point further because you are spot on. They looked at last season like, oh, well, all we have to do is just roll it back because, hey, our offense was a top offense in all of baseball last year. It was the best. We don't need to do anything. Well, let's just roll it back. But they were sitting on a house of cards and they didn't realize it. That house of cards could crumble at any point because they didn't do a thorough analysis of the situation. The truth is, Bellinger played better than anyone expected. Aaron Judge had a Hall of Fame season that you cannot rely on every single year. What he did last year was stupendous and is not likely to be repeated. Okay. And then you had Jazz Chisholm having a career year. You had Trent Grisham having a career year. There was like 3 or 4 career years these guys had, right? Are you relying on that to happen again? That doesn't happen. The Yankees didn't plan for what if any of these guys take a step back? What if Aaron Judge even takes a little bit of a step back, which is happening? What happens if Jazz Chisholm goes back to who he's been through his entire career? What happens if Trent Grisham goes back to who he's been his entire career? Right? What happens if Austin Wells continues to struggle and gets worse because we haven't fixed whatever is wrong with him and his swing? They didn't plan for anything. And they're getting exactly what they deserve. This is why you never roll back a broken team. I know they'll argue the term broken, but for me, it was pretty broken. They got embarrassed by Toronto. I know it's not convenient for Brian Cashman and Brian Cashman's followers, cult followers. I know it doesn't fit their narrative, right? But that's the truth. They got embarrassed by Toronto last year, and then they sat on it and went, no, I'm good. We're good. We don't need to do anything. And that lack of preparation, what's that saying? What is that saying about preparation? It's a very good saying, and it's the truth. You're preparing to fail. Don't prepare. If you don't prepare to fail. It's as simple as that. And the Yankees have not prepared for anything, and they're getting exactly what they deserve. Look, what do you think?
Just to pull out the standings real quick, the Yankees are at May 7th. We are currently May 22nd, about 15 days ago. The Yankees were 26-12. Now they currently sit, and this was 14 games above 500. Now they sit 9 games above 500. The Rays have toppled them. The Blue Jays are not far behind. It comes down to arrogance. It comes down to, as you said, building a team based on what-if results and unsustainable results. Like Jazz, how's 50-50 going? How's the 50-50 chase? Because personally, I don't think that's even possible anymore. Not even close. That thing is so far gone, it's not even funny.
Oh, it's cooked. You're lucky to get 2020 out of him.
His value.
And this is what I love, right? This is why I love baseball. because it's the great equalizer. I've been saying this for weeks, but it's the truth. Baseball is the great equalizer. For all your talk, you can have all these big bombastic proclamations, but baseball can humble you real quick. And these Yankees deserve to get humbled because let's be honest here. This is the most egotistical, entitled Yankee team I have ever seen, apart from a handful of guys. And we know the handful that we love: Cam Schlittler, Ben Rice. Yeah, exactly. Stanton and, I mean, a couple of other guys. Caballero aside. The rest are the most entitled, egotistical bunch that deserve to get humbled. And it starts with Brian Cashman. He is the most egotistical. And he deserved to get humbled because the way that he treated this roster without doing anything, thinking this bullpen was just going to magically just solve itself, he deserves this. He deserves this. I'm sorry. I'm not rooting against the Yankees, but sometimes justice gets done. And championship teams do not talk without proving anything. And this Yankee team does a whole lot of talking. Jazz Chisholm with his 50-50s. With the whole Yankees walking around in their personalized Timberlands. This is not the Yankees. This is not what the Yankees are about. They do a whole lot of talking. And I am sick to death of hearing them say stupid shit. Even Aaron Judge, Mr. Birthday Card Judge. I mean, every time Captain Birthday Card, every time he speaks in the media, I just want to put my head in my hands. It's like,
well, thank you for mentioning that, Donald. Yesterday, I saw this tweet. For some reason, SNY Yankees either took it down or they edited it out of they just took it away. But I saw it in quotes. Aaron Judge was asked about his struggles at the plate against the Jays, and he's like, "quote unquote, I'm not doing nothing at the plate."
Not doing nothing at the plate.
And
then he's like, "We'll take care of business the next time." And I'm like, "Are you? No. Are you sure?"
Absolutely unserious stuff from our quote unquote captain. I'm not doing nothing at the plate. That's the meat.
I think the thing that kind of was, it was more that when he said that, we'll take care of business next time. I'm sick of hearing about next time. Oh, we'll do it next time. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of it. I am sick of hearing about it. How about do it now? Anyway, got Uncle Tats. He's been disappearing for the last 15 minutes. What's going on, Tats? You good?
Good morning. Well, first, drop me back off because as soon as you put my picture up, 5 viewers dropped off. So obviously nobody wants to hear me this morning or look at me. But look, I'm sitting back, sitting back at a little rough morning I'm having, but here I am. You were talking, Donald. The one thing that stood out, and I'm getting myself situated. And you talk about the preparation, and the first thing that came to my mind was in Spaceballs, preparing. You're always preparing. Just go. Can Cashman just get off his ass and just go balls out and fix this team? Don't wait for the trade deadline, because by then it's going to be too late. Because this team, as much as we want to be optimistic, and there are ways, there are those 5 viewers right back. There you go. Boom. It's, you want to see a sense of urgency. And Cashman doesn't have that in his – Cashman and Hal, because the two of them work in tandem.
Yes, Hal.
Do not have – right? Let's not excuse Hal for what this team is right now. You can't just keep going. Well, we won 94 games back to back. So whatever we give this manager, he's going to figure it out. Boone was handed a crap roster.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, no bullpen.
No.
Bullpens are very tough to build because you never know who's going to have back-to-back on years. Because, we've seen over the years of baseball, none of us are new to this game. If you are, here's a little history lesson. most bullpen arms, I'll say 95, 90, 80%. 80% of all bullpen arms, they have a phenomenal year one year and then a terrible year the next. Bullpen arms just seem to be every other year they're on. And you got to try to figure out how they're going to situate their bullpen. And when you have a manager that really doesn't manage the bullpen well, you reap what you sow. The Yankees put this all on themselves. It's not the teams they're playing. It's self-harm at this point. And it's a shame. Because, when you have a fan base like we are, and everybody that we know, yes, it's World Series or bust, but we want to have, we do take a realistic look at this. When you look at the first two games of this, like, Donald, one of the first titles I threw at you, and I sent to you, it was a sweep, but it felt like it was a split, but it felt like a sweep. The sweep was the Blue Jays should have swept us the way we were playing. Those first two games, we got lucky. When you bring in Duvall to close, what the hell are you thinking? I know Boom is out of it, but Brad Osmus, you're no innocent in this either. You're the bench coach. Everybody needs to be held accountable for the way that this team is looking. And a lot of people keep saying, it's the roster. But we went on that run with two players that are on the IL right now out of the lineup. And that's Caballero. And let's be honest with ourselves, Dominguez was a big factor too on why we were playing so well. Because he was actually improving with the bat. Jones, too early. We were ready for it. We wanted him to get his shot. And I said, give him 3 series, we'll see where he's at. Well, we've had 3 series. He had 4 hits.
Yeah, no, I'm a big Spencer Jones defender, but he's not ready. He's not ready. There needs some further work. And not like he can't get to be fair, he wasn't any worse than anybody else at all.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my next point. It's unfortunately those were the roster moves that were made. But a lot of people are like, well, we knew they were going to, this is the window to keep Volpe. But Volpe's actually been the one that's actually been producing since he's back. He's batting .308. He's getting on base. He's earning his walks.
He's not batting .308 anymore, bro. It's dropped significantly after yesterday.
That was according to, was he just under? He might be just under 300. That was the last time. I mean, Jones was batting 167.
No, he's now real quick. Dude, he's back down to 217.
217. Jesus, wow, that was a fucking quick drop. Well, it's a handful of games.
He went basically hitless against the Blue Jays in the last 3 games. He went 1 for 10, so with 3 strikeouts. So I'm sorry. I am not overrating what Anthony Volpe did. He had a couple of games against the Mets and the Jays where he got a couple of hits. But apart from that, he was completely useless. So, again, I'm not going to get too excited about Anthony Volpe. He's back down to where he normally is, 217. So, no. Just for anybody in the chat, he is not batting 300. And we need to make sure we have up-to-date statistics before we give statistics.
No, that was his batting average. That was his batting average 2 games ago. Because the last box score I looked at was the last game they won against the Blue Jays. I always like to go back and kind of do a little review while I'm doing, setting up my awards, which we'll get to in a little bit. Issy, phenomenal subscriber, channel member. If you want, prioritize your chat. Become a member of the channel, subscribe, hit that like button, share this out. I would try to move Volpe now while he has a resemblance of value. I would. I would try to move him. But you're not going to use that little bit of stretch when he came up. That's not going to convince any other team that this is the guy that you want.
Mendoza's Row is the best name ever. It should be the name of a podcast. That's a freaking thing. But it's definitely what the Yankees are. They're Mendoza's Row. It's definitely a comment of the week. Right. So we've got a hierarchy here, right? We've got Hal, we got Cash, we got Boone, we got Judge, right? Those are the four in our hierarchy. So we're gonna rank it. Who is the most culpable for the Yankees' struggles this year? 1 through 4. So 1 being Hal, 2 being Cash, 3 being Boone, 4 being Judge. How do you rank it? 1 through 4. Who's the most culpable for how bad this start has been? Because they're the most important people. They're the hierarchy, right?
Well,
We know
Judge
that
is
there's
the
bigger
captain,
issues.
so
We
he
know
can fit
Duvall's
that
a bigger
group.
issue. We
Yeah.
know the Volpe and Wells being a bigger issue. We know all that. But those are the 4 kings of the castle. So we're only sticking with that 4, right? Let's start with Tats. How do you rank it?
It always starts at the top. It's Hal.
Okay.
Hal's the one that keeps bringing these knuckleheads back, as GM and manager. We gave him a little bit, I do give him a little bit of a leash because, giving Judge the captaincy is why he's not playing in San Francisco and he's still a New York Yankee. I think that was a big factor into that negotiation. But no, it always starts at the top. Always.
Okay. So you got Hal
if
1.
I'm not doing well, if I check out, it's not because I have my you have to go, well, what is my boss doing to ensure that I'm in a positive, healthy workplace? And it just got it, because the shit rolls downhill. Well, if the shit rolls downhill, the blame has to go uphill.
Right. Okay. So you got Hal number 1. Who's number 2?
Cashman. He's
For
the one
sure.
making the deal.
3?
You know what? I'm gonna put Judge 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be tough on Judge this year.
Mm-hmm.
You're the captain. You're the leader in that locker room when nobody's looking. When you're a captain, you're supposed to be the leader. You're second in command right now to the manager, in my opinion. When you're a captain, you're the right-hand man. You're supposed to be correcting the psyche of the players that the manager's missing. He has not done that. Sorry, I'm calling it as it is. I'm not a Judge hater. I love having fucking picture behind me. There's no other Yankee behind me but Judge. But it's he's got to. He's not paid to be a leader. It's something that has to be natural. And then 4, I would put Boone because he's only working with the roster that Cashman and Hal gave him.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And look up. Right. What's your order, brother?
I'm going to put Brian Cashman number 1, actually. I know we can say Hal Steinbrenner, owns this team. Yeah, absolutely. But I've said for months now that Brian Cashman basically owns this team. Hal could give a crap. Number 2, you could argue Hal Steinbrenner. You could argue maybe even Aaron Judge. I'm going to put Judge at 2, honestly. And I'm going to put Hal at 3 and then Boone at 4. Judge and his poor leadership just sticks out to me at number 2. I think that's the big reason. Listen, it's one thing that he's slumping. Players go through major slumps, but also the problem is with the Yankees. This is in relation to Cashman as well. When Judge struggles, it just seems like the entire team struggles, which is problematic. That there's a lack of bats around him. I completely get that. But Judge, who does he motivate? Who does he inspire? He gives these cupcake quotes. He gives these birthday card quotes. And to give you that full quote that I was mentioning to you, Donald, and now you, Tats, Aaron Judge, quote unquote, in a bit of a funk, was asked to describe what he's doing at the plate right now. I am not, quote, quote, I am not doing nothing at the plate. That's what we're doing right there. What kind of quote is that? Seriously.
One, not doing nothing. That's a double negative, which is proof positive.
Doing nothing.
Seriously.
I'm not doing
What am
nothing.
I supposed to take out of that? I'm like, you're not doing nothing.
Meanwhile, he said it with a big smirk in his face, like he was like that annoys me anyway.
No, that's, and I think Healing's right. That's a leader that doesn't know what to say. That's a leader that doesn't know how to lead.
Like, by what he's saying, I'm not doing nothing. It's like I'm not doing nothing. It's like, oh, I'm doing something, you know. I'm doing. It's like that. I think that's what I'm trying to get out of that, or at least what he's implying. In my personal opinion, I could be wrong on that. But no, this guy is soft. He's Captain Underpants, Captain Birthday Card, whatever.
Captain Underpants. That's wrong.
I mean, Donald, we literally said that 2 years ago when we were calling the World Series. My brother called him Captain Underpants.
That's great.
That he is. He's Captain Underpants. I think I would find more motivation listening to Captain Underpants than Aaron Judge.
That's
Aaron
awesome.
Judge is giving out political quotes, like a politician. But no, I don't respect his leadership. As great a player as he is, I don't respect his leadership. I think he's complacent. I think he's entitled. I think, I'm going to be honest with you. People draw this comparison a lot, and obviously this player, Don, we can acknowledge is past his prime. Judge will go down as one of the greats. I think he has a good chance of having a James Harden-esque career.
Yeah.
All the accomplishments individually, but when it comes playoff time, you're basically trying to shake him out of a coma because I'm sorry, he does not care. He doesn't. And I know there's a love affair. You know, me and Don were talking about this yesterday, Uncle Tats. A lot of people just, and this is like a semi non-baseball note, but it is in regard to the city.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people going after people saying, oh, well, there's people out there saying, you know, Jalen Brunson's the king of New York. And then there's people going after those people saying, oh, well, Judge has the individual accomplishments. What has Jalen Brunson done? At least Aaron Judge brought the Yankees to World Series. And I'm like, no. Yes, Judge was a part of that team that went to the World Series. But if you actually watch that postseason run, that was off the backs of Juan Soto, Garrett Cole, and Giancarlo Stanton. And Gleyber Torres possibly as well. But the problem is people are like, the funniest thing, Dal mentioned it, A-Rod won 2 MVPs and was garbage in the playoffs before 2009. 2009 comes along, the Yankees go to the World Series, A-Rod's a huge contributor as to why they win.
Yeah.
If we're going to sit here and prove individual stats, then why are we not giving A-Rod some grace? Like, why is there a double?
The Yankees despise A-Rod. The Yankees despise A-Rod, and he's just been just as successful as Aaron Judge. And yet people treat Judge like he's a deity and he's untouchable. I think all my argument is, why can't we just treat Judge like everybody else? Like he hasn't actually won a championship yet. So for me, he's just as he is just as culpable as everybody else, especially considering he's been given a captaincy probably before any of us would have been comfortable with. He's been given this candidacy, been given all this power. He's the right-hand man to Hal Steinbrenner. He is. He's the little voice in Hal Steinbrenner's shoulder. He's got this much power. You know, he's got so much power, and I don't think he's done enough, apart from some individual accomplishments and some historic individual. Not downplaying the significance of his accomplishments. I mean, he's literally, for me, the actual home run champion. He is the actual home run champion. Like, I actually think that without the juice and all that stuff, like, he literally is the rightful home run champion over Barry Bonds. But having said that, I think that he's overly focused on a bunch of things that don't matter off field regarding changing some the old Yankee historic traditions. He's up for changing all that stuff, and I'm thinking, well, why don't you just focus on what you can focus on, which is being as good as you can be and getting and ensuring that you have a locked in locker room and ensuring that accountability is high and standards are high, and there's an element of toughness in the locker room. This is the kind of things you should be focusing on as a captain, not all this walking around with Timberlands and let's try and change the road jerseys. Like, this kind of stuff just doesn't matter at all, and I've never understood why so many people treat him like a deity just because he gets some individual accomplishments. The truth is, he was the fourth wheel of a team that got to the World Series. He was the fourth wheel. He was not much of a factor at all in our postseason run. Not at all. It was Soto and it was Stanton and it was Cole. And he clung on as a fourth wheel. True captains, true leaders lead from the front. But when the going gets tough, Aaron Judge is one that actually follows rather than being a leader when the going gets tough. Now, you compare that to previous Yankees, that's never been the case. And you compare that to Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's the guy that grabs his team by the scruff of the neck going, no, not today. We're winning this game. That's the difference between true leaders and someone that when the going gets tough, he follows. And that's my biggest issue with Aaron Judge. So everybody else give your rankings. So we had TC Steele. He's putting it all on Cashman. I liked
TC is on fire in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, the chat is very good.
Everybody is.
Absolutely. So everybody else give your rankings. I'll give my rankings. My number one most culpable.
Wait, he still has his. He's only got halfway through because we kind of.
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah,
it's all good. I just wanted to finish off, bring home the point that Judge is number 2. Number 3, I actually would put Hal Steinbrenner, and number 4, I would put Aaron Boone. Hal Steinbrenner is culpable for actually giving into some of these changes. You could go back a year with the whole beard stuff, but for talking this year, just the music, the DJ, all these different things to just, again, Donald, you said it, applying attention to things that don't matter, that aren't worth baseball. Aaron Boone, again, not to say Aaron Boone isn't culpable, but he's probably the least culpable because he has a bunch of broken tools. He's got it's like Santa Claus trying to fix broken toys, and I don't want to compare Boone to Santa Claus here. I think that's an insult to Santa Claus, but it's like he's being given a lot of shitty elves or a lot of shitty toys.
Shitty elves.
That's the
Mrs.
problem.
Claus is not doing her job.
Exactly. That's the issue. That's literally the issue. But that's my top 4. And I just want to say before Donald gives his top 4, I absolutely think it's silly that that we're, because you know what? I'll explain why people, including myself, and I would even say Donald, would rank Jalen Brunson at Aaron Judge. It's not the individual accomplishments; it's showing up when it matters most, and that's what happens when you're in the biggest sports media market in the entire states. That would be New York City, of course.
Facts.
Let me say this as somebody that is not a basketball. I don't watch basketball. I've been following on, through the phone the last couple of games with the Knicks. One, because it gives us something to talk about backstage, and kind of get away from the misery of the Yankees. But it's like this is a team that's kind of taking even the casuals by storm. And there's something special going on. And to your point, Brunson's a huge part of it because he's like, all right, I'm going to lead you through the regular season, and then I'm going to elevate you even more in the postseason. Look at this. Look at the scores in this postseason run to the next run. It doesn't just come out of the sky. It's the coach in Mike Brown putting the faith in Jalen Brunson, your star player, going, okay, just do it. I have faith in you. And Brunson having the ability to be like, all right, coach, I got you. And coming through and elevating everybody else. Because I do listen to a lot of sports talk. I don't think anybody expected guys like Hart and what's the other guy's name that came from the
Bridges,
Knicks, Bridges,
Anunoby.
to have this postseason run that they're on. Because Mikal Bridges has been playing really well. See, I'm learning the names too, guys. So like that's what a captain does. And Judge just he doesn't have that cachet that can kind of carry the momentum into a postseason run. Now, this is in no way, and I don't like speaking for Luka and Donald, but I'm going to say this anyway. This is in no way saying that we think that Aaron Judge is a terrible. He's one of the best players we've ever been able to watch with our own eyes. But we know there's so much more in him, and we are yearning. We're desperate to see it when it matters most. We had the chance to just put the Blue Jays out of our minds for the rest of the year by winning a 4-game set instead of splitting it. And we squandered the opportunity because the bats went cold. It wasn't the pitching. We always go into the postseason going, well, our pitching, our bullpen. The offense is the one that goes cold, not the pitching. The pitching's been fine. The pitching's the only thing that actually we can look forward to when we turn the game on. All right, how dominant and how deep can the starting pitching go? Like that, but that can't be the only thing we look forward to. It's got to be more than what Fried can do, what Schlittler can do, Rodon, Warren, Weathers. There's got to. You can't win a series with just 5 guys, and 5 guys that you only get to see once. There's got to be more to it, and that's where Judge needs to come into play and be like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Right? We already saw this batter, this pitcher for the first time. This is the adjustments we need to make. They're all talking in between everything. Are they talking about the strategy for the pitching? Or are they talking about where they're going to go to eat after the game? These are the things that I get curious about. You're right, it's always the offense that lets us down. It shouldn't be. You cannot have Judge, Stanton, Bellinger, Rice, Goldschmidt. Those are your key guys right now. You should not be losing. You should not be shut out. You should not be going 18 innings without putting up a run. And 1 run in 18 innings that it was. That is absolutely unacceptable with that lineup. You could even put Jazz in there. You cannot be putting up 1 run the whole time. I'm sorry, I don't accept it. It's unacceptable. But Donald, let's get your rankings. We still have the award segments coming up.
There's actually been some other rankings that were brought on here. Evan, he has Cashman number 1. Yep. Hal 2, Judge 3, Boone 4. Yeah, seeing a consistent trend that Aaron Boone, from a lot of people, is least culpable.
Not being held to the fire, yeah.
Cashman, Boone, for FJ, it's Cashman, Boone, Judge, Hal last. So Boone's a little bit higher in his ranking, but by and large, people are kind of targeting Brian Cashman. So my rankings, number 1, the most culpable, and it's not really close. It's Brian Cashman. He is by far the most culpable. Brian Cashman is by far the most culpable for this. He has handled this roster with nothing but arrogance. He treats roster building with a tunnel vision, which is not healthy. In order to build a successful roster, you should be able to take a step back, take your ego aside, take your personal preferences aside. Volpe. Take your personal preferences aside and look at the grand scope, like the grand vision. I have no idea what his vision is. I don't think anybody does. And thinking that he could just roll back this lineup without a bullpen is just crazy. Crazy. And you can't tell me it's anything other than arrogance when you get into this offseason and the very first moves you make is to bring back Paul Blackburn. That's the very first move you make. You've got all of free agency. You didn't have any scouts that could find someone better than Paul Blackburn. No, the reason why is because you're so arrogant. You wanted to bring back a guy that you signed before. You acquired before. That's what it is. It's just arrogance. You had a whole free agency that you could have had fun with. Like, let's get this guy. Let's build this bullpen. Let's add this arm. Right? We need some strikeout arms in the bullpen. No. I'm just going to bring back my guys because I'm smarter than you. That's what I'm talking about, kind of arrogance. So, I mean, he has a lot of money to spend. You know, he had a lot of money to spend. He had, let me see, how much did he spend on Cody Bellinger? Just under 30 plus mil AAV, right? Right. Then you add Trent Grisham. That's another 22.5, right? That's like almost 60 mil. Okay. Then you add what he spent on Blackburn and these other doofus arms, acquiring 50 million of McMahon's contract. It was a terrible mistake. You put all that together, and if you actually allocated those resources correctly, 70, 80 million at least minimum to spend each year, if you allocate that correctly, you could have had a very complete team ready to compete at the highest level, and he just didn't do it. He just didn't do it. And that is what I'm talking about, arrogance. So you can't have a $340 million payroll, which we're looking at, and have half a batting lineup and no bullpen. For that, for 340 mil, I can't blame Hal Steinbrenner for that. Can I? Can I really blame Hal Steinbrenner for that? No. So I'm sorry, Cashman is number one, the most culpable, and it's by a distance. Now the next you can argue, but normally I would have Aaron Boone number two. Normally. But I'm actually going to put Aaron Judge number two. Reason why Aaron Judge is really annoying me of late is because not because of what he's not doing at the plate, because everybody goes through slumps. I'm not too worried about it. I think he's going to come out of his slump very soon. I think he's going to start hitting. He's going to start hitting the bejesus out of the ball. I am not worried about his performances on the field, although it hasn't been good, right? But he's been so good for about 3 years, he's allowed to have a slump. So I'm not too worried about the slump. He is a leader. He is the leader, right? He has more power than Derek Jeter and Don Mattingly combined of our last two captains. He has more power than the two of them combined, right? Because he actually has sway in the front office. He has sway over roster decisions, and he's, the Yankee fans dietize him, right? So he's been given all this power and accolades, and what's he using it for? He's using it for all the things that just don't matter. All these changes to Yankee traditions, they just don't matter, right? I know people want Yankees to be modernized and all that stuff. It's not that big a deal. The Yankees are a historic organization. Allow them to have historic traditions, such as road grays. The Yankees are a buttoned-up organization. They always have been. They always should be, right? They are. Don't try and change it just for Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I think that Aaron Judge is overly focused on things that don't matter. DJ music, Timberlands, looking snazzy, have another jersey, which no one really cares for. These are the kind of stuff that Aaron Judge is focused on, and I think that's the wrong use of your powers, and also I think he just wants to be playing with his buddies. Like if he was the right kind of captain, he would go to Hal going, I really love Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone's my friend. I don't want to be in a position to get him fired, but
He's not
we
the guy.
probably we need another voice here. Like we need a little bit because we're not winning. We need another voice, but he's not doing it because he's best buddies with Aaron Boone. I mean, he's best buddies with Verdugo and got a trade for him. He was best buddies with DJ LeMahieu, kept him on the roster. He is overly focused on things that he shouldn't be really worried about. Like that shit is not your concern. Your concern should be, how can I get the most out of my locker room? And why is my locker room continuing to have these June swoons, May swoons, April swoons, fucking August swoons? Why do we keep doing that? And if you really were focused on your job, then you'd go, right, I'm best buddies with these guys. I'm in a really tough spot. But the bigger picture here is the Yankees. This is not a Harmony Hut. This is not the Boys Brigade. This is not, some hanging out with my boys. This is a serious job representing the most important organization in sports. I've got to take myself out of it, my personal friendships out of it, and go, right, how can I be the best leader for the most important organization in the whole of sports? And Aaron Judge doesn't do that. Aaron Judge is all about things that just don't matter. Freaking stadium music. Who cares? Does anybody in this chat care? I know I don't care. Nobody cares. Right? Exactly. Personalized Timberlands. Does anybody think that's going to help this team win championships? No. Right? You know what I'm saying? The beard rule. Who gives a fuck? Right? And then, third jersey. Again, who cares? No one cares. Third jersey. If you want another jersey so bad, go and frickin' market one. But you don't need a third jersey as a Yankee. These things just don't matter. And you're all focused on that shit. And that's just poor leadership, in my opinion. If you can't see the wood for the trees going, this guy, I love this guy, but he's not helping us win. And you have sway to ownership, then you're using it the wrong way. Jeter never asked for any power because he trusted everybody ahead of him. But he was never focused on all friendships. As I've said before, him and A-Rod hated each other. But Jeter knew that they couldn't win in 2009 without A-Rod. Thus, they put any ego aside, any personal things aside, and we're like, right, let's win. It's all about winning. And then they ended up having a really good mutual understanding again and a mutual respect. Okay, that's how you do it. I don't think Aaron Judge would do that. Aaron Judge would probably campaign behind the scenes to get somebody he doesn't like out the team, even if it helped him. So, I mean, the best example is Juan Soto. He didn't even freaking call Juan Soto. All free agency. You couldn't find a way to contact Juan Soto going, dude, we could build something special here. You just left it. But you campaigned for Cody Bellinger. It doesn't look good for you, Aaron. It doesn't look good for you. Now, I love Cody Bellinger. He's been great, but it doesn't look good for you. When a generational free agent who carried your ass to this World Series and you were like, no, I'm not going to try and find a way to contact him. There's something that's like, that's not a very good leadership. So number 2, Aaron Judge, he is the second most culpable for all of this. Number 3, I'm going to go with Hal. It all starts with the top. Hal's overly soft. He is overly soft. He takes a partial at best interest in the Yankees. Partial at best. That's my best way I can put it. He has a partial at best interest in the Yankees. He overly trusts Cashman. He overly trusts Aaron Boone. He's given Aaron Judge more power than he should, than any player should. And it's not just about Judge. Anyone. No one should have the amount of power that Aaron Judge has. Um, because he is not that focused on the team. He's not that focused on owning it. He's not that focused on the day-to-day aspect of owning it. He's like, right, guys, you got $70 million to spend. Spend how you want it. I support you all. I'm going to go back to Tampa, and I'm shutting off my phone for 6 months. That's kind of what Hal Steinbrenner does. That's not how you should run an organization. That's not how you should have any leadership. And now the Yankees are floundering away, and there's no help in sight, right? Because we don't have an owner. Normally, that would put him number one most culpable, but I'll be honest. If you set aside $350 million every single year to build a championship roster, Hal is more than willing to do what it takes to open up that kind of money, and you can't do that. That's on you. That's not on Hal. That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So that's on Cashman, and Hal is a guy who obviously wants to do best by his players. So if Aaron Judge asks for something, he's probably going to get it. I can't really hate on Hal for that because he wants his players to be happy. But, that's why I've got Hal a little bit lower on the list. Fourth, and you guys know for a fact, I have never been a big Boone guy. Booney Bubbles, Barney the Friendly Dinosaur, Ted Lasso. I mean, you name it. That's who Aaron Boone is, okay? I think that he is one of the worst postseason managers I've ever seen of a contending team. Like, his postseason management is terrible. However, I cannot blame him for any of this. And as I said before, at the start of this year, it would take a lot for me to blame Aaron Boone for this roster because this roster has so many holes in it. How is any manager, supposed to manage this bullpen? Joe Girardi is one of the best bullpen managers we've all seen. He couldn't manage this bullpen. Joe Torre wouldn't be able to manage this bullpen. Nobody could manage this bullpen. Bobby Cox couldn't manage this bullpen. Lupinella. Kevin Cash, nobody could manage this bullpen. There is nobody in this bullpen that anybody should trust, anybody could go to. There's nothing that Boone's doing wrong with his bullpen. He has set aside lanes for these guys. But who else are you going to turn to? Bednar's his closer. Who else are you going to turn to? No one else can step in and be a step-in closer. Nobody. Duval? I can't blame Boone for that. I can't blame Boone for this lineup. What's he supposed to do with this lineup? Doesn't have a leadoff hitter, and the bottom third of the lineup just refused to hit. That's not Boone's fault. He's got two lefty catchers. What's he supposed to do with that? Both of them are sub-Mendoza-line hitters. What's he supposed to do with that? He's got so little power on the left side of the infield. What's he supposed to do with that? Is that his fault? No, that's not his fault. There's no depth outside of Stanton in terms of right-handed power. Judge, Stanton, and then there's nobody. That's not Boone's fault. So that's why I've got Boone last on the list of culpability, because I don't know what he's supposed to do with this team. We could all be Monday morning quarterbacks, and I really doubt that any of us could come together and say, right, this is the best lineup that would win us a championship or win us the American League. I don't think any of us could name a lineup right now from what we have that would guaranteed and conquer all in the American League. So how can I blame Boone for that? Nobody in this chat, anybody here could say that Boone is doing a terrible job with his bullpen, because his bullpen stinks. What's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to turn to Paul Blackburn instead of Jake Bird? Is he supposed to find Cade Winquist again and put him instead of Duval? What are we supposed to do? That's not his fault. So
I'd rather Anthony Rizzo in the bullpen.
And another thing about Boone, and I'll say this about Boone, and I do call him a bit of he is Barney the Friendly Dinosaur, but I'll be honest, he's a little bit tougher this season. He has been. He looks pissed off. He looks pissed off. He's a little bit prickly right now, and I like that. He's got the right attitude. Unfortunately, the years and years and years of being a cupcake the whole rest of the locker room is a bunch of cupcakes. So now that he's a grizzled, little bit pissed off dude, well, unfortunately, your attitude for the past years means that your captain and a lot of your locker room are a bunch of cupcakes. So good luck managing that bunch of cupcakes. So, I mean, I there's a couple of guys who are exempt from any criticism. Bellinger, Cam Schlittler, Caballero, Ben Rice. They're exempt. Those are the guys that are completely exempt from any criticism whatsoever. They're all tough dudes. They've been playing hard and they've been doing everything they possibly can to try and win us games. I respect that. But I think everybody else is fair game. As far as I'm concerned, everybody else is fair game. Yes, Bellinger needs to step it up on the road, but to be honest, the Yankees signed him purely for that lefty short porch, that right-handed short porch. That's where it is. No, he's been great though. He has been great, and he's got a good attitude. Like, he's a tough dude. Goldschmidt is another one that doesn't deserve any criticism. Like, I think he's been fantastic, but that's only like half a lineup, and Goldschmidt's not even an everyday player. So there's so many problems everywhere. I can't blame him for that. So
we went through the numbers real quick. We went through the numbers with Belgium the other day. Of the other players that we were begging for them to sign, he's outperforming two of the three that we mentioned. You know, because of his defense. You know, it's not just the offense. You know, his WAR is 3 points higher than the other outfielders that we wanted. So that's why Bellinger's on the exempt list. I agree with Donald on the exempt list completely. We can throw Goldschmidt in there, but he's a bench player. You know, bench players don't get on. They can't be on the list because they're not an everyday factor.
Right.
But no, I thought the exemption list right now, spot on.
So let's should we hurry through the awards and close out?
Let's hurry through the awards. There you go.
Love the vibes of that shit. Do. Right. Good luck finding an MVP here. So I'm going to need my co-stars here to help me with the MVP. Luca, who's your MVP?
I guess I'll go Cam Schlittler. I know he's usually our boy blue, but I'm going to go Cam Schlittler.
It's fair. Uncle T.
Nope. Schlittler. We expect, he's Cam Schlittler. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Our ace.
He is our ace. He's the best pitcher in baseball. No, he is. Like, if I was offered an opportunity to trade him for Turek Skubal or anything like that, no, I'm good with Cam. Cam is as good as anybody. Like, he's right up there with Savage and Skubal. Plus, he's got a bit of balls about him, and there's not enough of Yankees that have that kind of the stones.
He's got ace swagger.
He's got swagger. He's got stones. He's got a bit of attitude about him. He's got a bit of Roger Clemens about him. Love it.
And unlike our second baseman, he can back it up.
Facts. What's going on? What's going on, guy? So yeah, he's MVP, low-key MVP. Good luck, guys.
Yep.
Luca.
Low-key MVP. I mean, I guess you could say Ben Rice has still been hitting, so I'll go with him. I mean, he's been the one constant in this lineup throughout the entire season. 1,000 OPS still, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go with Ben Rice.
Just looking back to this series, like, obviously McMahon had a big series, actually. So I'm probably going to go McMahon because he was the guy that got the big home run. to save the game and force the turnaround that none of us expected. Yeah, he had 3 RBI game in the second game, and hit the big home run. I'm gonna go with Ryan McMahon. I think McMahon had a good series, a very, very good series. But you could easily argue Ben Rice as well. But I'm gonna go with McMahon. What about you, Uncle Tats?
I'm going to catch a little heat for this one, but that's fine. I'm used to it after working with Donald for 8 years. He might have been the MVP if it wasn't getting the sombrero yesterday. But my low key, I gave it to Jazz. I thought the first few games he put together some really good at bats. You know, 3-hit performance when the offense wasn't doing anything. I thought that he was one of those. He was not the reason we lost.
What's up, Chef Nick? Looking forward to collabing with you and Evan in the future. Actually, you know what? Jazz is a pretty good shout out, man, because he has actually been hitting a lot better. He has, and he's until obviously yesterday. But I'm probably going to go Ryan McMahon there myself for low key. Clutch could probably double up with McMahon in the clutch, but what about you, Uncle Tats? Who are you going to clutch?
My clutch was McMahon. I thought that, you know, we don't win this series. We don't split the series. It's a loss if McMahon didn't have that at bat.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Jazz had the home run to follow him, but if he doesn't tie that game, the Yankees have no pulse.
Facts. And it came out of nowhere too. Like the Yankees look cooked. They look completely cooked. They would have lost 3 out of 4.
Well, the at bat before that, he looked like he looked worse than ass. Like it was a bad at bat. And then he followed it up with the 3-run.
If you look at his at bats, like he was hitting the ball hard all series. Like McMahon was actually hitting it very hard this series, so it's good to see that there's a little bit of life in that bat. So yeah, I'm gonna double up and clutch with Ryan McMahon. So he's the clutch award winner. Aaron Boone, out of 10. Let's start with Luka.
I think he tried with the best what he could. I guess he could go 5 or 6, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Sharing a series that they had no business sharing, they should have gotten swept. It's probably deserves some credit for that. Uncle Tats?
Yeah, I mean, I originally went with a 2. And I'm watching some of the highlights this morning. You know, I think, you know, going to Duvall, he was already ejected at that point, so you can't blame him for putting Duvall in as a closer. So being we split, I'm going to split the vote. I'm going to go with a 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
To be honest, they didn't play well, but I don't think there was any moves that he should have made differently, really, because what is he supposed to do with now a bullpen? And with a lineup, only about 2 guys that actually hits in this lineup. Like, what's he supposed to do? So, I'll settle in between 4.5 out of 10, 4.5.
Who cares out of 10?
Exactly, 4.5 out of 10. I think. Who cares out of 10 for Boone? I'm so over him.
I really like that one. Healy, that's a good one. We'll let that one count.
Absolutely. Pitching awards. Who gets a pitching award?
All right, I'm going to go with the Schlitlia Savage matchup. I thought that was an old school pitching duel. We got exactly what we wanted when you get those 2 on the mound. You know, we had said closing out our season last year, Donald, you know, at that, you know, watching you Savage in the postseason last year, the AL East has some solid pitching coming through the ranks. And in a very, you know, that game decided if it was going to be a split or a win. And I know Schlitler caught a lot of shit because of those, you know, with the bases loaded, you know, and then the bullpen kind of trying to bail him out. Schlitler did nothing wrong. That is a tough lineup. I thought that outing between those two guys was almost as perfect as you can get for two young studs. I enjoyed it, even with the outcome. There are some games where you're like if there was ever a tip the cap game, that one was the one this year.
I totally agree. Luca?
As I said with Tats, that pitching duel, Cam Schlittler. I mean, that was old-fashioned as a guess. The only thing that sucks is that Schlittler got used, that got taken to – I don't want to say taken to cleaners by his own offense, but just done by his own offense.
It was just a matter of which pitcher was going to kind of crack a little bit.
That's true.
But it's not like he got lit up and then he came out.
No.
Yeah. But, I mean, when you think of old school pitching duels, like, that's what it was.
Yes.
I agree. I'm going to go with the pitching duel. I love that suggestion. Even putting Savage in there. Savage deserves it.
Dude's a stud.
He's incredible. He's every bit as good as Cam Schlittler is, if not better. He's an absolute beast. So the two of them, Schlittler and Savage, are definitely pitching award winners for the series. Definitely agree with that. You're my boy, Blue. You're not too many boys that are blue in this situation. You're my boy. Who's your boy, Luca?
I guess I'll say Bellinger for sticking around and still being consistent.
That's a pretty good suggestion. Uncle Tats.
I'm going, with the guy that's probably my age. I'm going with Goldie.
Yes,
that's true.
He gets called on. You don't see a lot of veteran players take to the being a bench player that often, but every time he gets called on, he does something positive, to push things into the Yankees' favor, and that's all you could ask for from a bench player. So I know, he wasn't lighting it up, in the batter's box, but he just always seems to he's ready. He's always prepared.
You actually stole my thunder there, Uncle Tats. Great job. We're once again in complete agreement. My boy Blue is Paul Goldschmidt. You look at the previous games, okay? So let's go back to 10th of May. So that was 9 games ago, right? 3 hits, 2 RBIs, okay? And that came after not playing only having 1 at bat the night before. The next game he actually starts, he gets 3 hits, okay? Comes in, pitches, situation only 2 at bats against the Orioles, 1 hit. Then the next game against the Orioles, multiple hits. Next game against the Mets, multiple hits. Next game against the Blue Jays, multiple hits. 19th of May, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, a walk, and a home run. That's amazing. Then he got another base hit and an RBI in Game 2 against the Blue Jays. Game 3 against the Blue Jays. Game 4, not good. Nobody was good. So in total, he's been fantastic. And as I say, this is somebody that was 40 years old, was meant to be an afterthought, and he's been every bit as good as our regulars, if not better. He's been better than most of our regulars, and his approach at the plate is freaking perfect. He's a pro. He's a professional. He's tough. He's got a winning mentality about him. All the things that the rest of this locker room could learn from. So he's got the right attitude. You are my boy, Paul Goldschmidt. But we got TC's. His boys are us. My boys are Donald Tetsaluka for doing these shows to talk about this crap team. Exactly.
Thank you, Mr.
Stuff
TC.
and thanks to the question. Let's open it up to the panel before we get to the last 2 awards. Do you see Chisholm still here after the trade deadline? I'm going to go with yes, because I don't think Brian Cashman is going to get any requisite value for Jazz Chisholm. I don't know what value you can get for Jazz. His contract's running out. I don't know how many teams actually want to touch him. I think the only team with the balls to actually touch him is the Yankees, because he is such a head case. He's totally out there. He's in it for himself. He's not in it for the team. He looks like a moron with those pants. I'm sorry, he does. What are you, the legend of Bagger Vance? Why have you got Stanton's pants? I know it's a bit of fun, but you look stupid. Look, be professional. And I can't. I honestly, I'm done with him. I can't stand him. I'm done with him. So, how many teams are going to be wanting to put up with him? Good luck. Good luck. This is somebody that came into this season talking 50-50 and $300 million contracts. No one's going to want to pay him that. So no one's going to want to take him on and risk having to pay him that. So good luck. I'm going to say yes.
We're kind of stuck with him.
We're kind of stuck with him.
Yeah.
We're all three of us agree we're stuck with him.
I say kind of because he will have a good series here and there. It's his mental game is what checks everybody out on him. That's what everybody kind of tries to look the other way. I want to pull up this other comment real quick, Donald. I know I want to swing right back into the chat, but just to emphasize with you, Savage, I just pulled up his postseason numbers. Right in his 2 starts, he went 1-0 against the Dodgers with 17 strikeouts.
Yikes!
So, yes, he can shut down any lineup. I'm sorry. Savage is a stud.
Holy crap, that's good.
And I don't normally jump to the defense of an opposing player, but you got to give respect as a fan when it's due. Savage, I'm sorry, he's a bona fide stud.
He's amazing. He is freaking amazing. Savage is the real deal for sure. All right, let's get to the L.
Oh,
my L. Yeah, these are fun. My L is very easy. It's Austin Wells. And it kind of goes in line with the Stuff and Things question. Do you see Austin Wells still the starting catcher after the All-Star break? I think that might be something that Brian Cashman will look at, probably adding a righty catcher to platoon with him. I don't see him moving off of Austin Wells, but I think you will add some competition there because no one in their right mind would have 2 lefty catchers. Oh, wait, Brian Cashman did that. Anyway, yes, I do think that I do think that there would be some competition. Austin Wells has been terrible. He's been a disgrace. Every aspect of his game is a disgrace. His swing is a disgrace. His attitude's a disgrace. Everything about him is a disgrace. He is a disgrace. He's getting the L. Absolutely useless. Pathetic catcher. He should be ashamed of himself. Calling yourself a Yankee. Look at
Austin Wells. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know if the Yankees. I mean, they'll try at the deadline to look for a catcher, a right-handed catcher, but once again, the teams are going to see that the Yankees reek of desperation. So I don't think the Yankees will be compatible with any other team to grab at the catcher exactly the one they want. But no, it has to be Austin Wells. The fact that he's been playing so bad as well as long as he has, he's been arguably the worst starting catcher in baseball this season. Arguably.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Uncle Tats.
My L, I hate to do it. I really do. Judge. Judge was MIA with the bat. I just looked, started running backwards through the box scores. I was already, game 2, 3, and 4 of this 4-game set. He did not have 1 hit.
Nope.
Not 1. I mean, that's not a slump. That's just disappearing. So you're telling me as, the best player in the game, the best hitter in the game right now, you can't get 1 hit, especially when game 4, it was a bullpen game for Blue Jays. Sorry, that is an L capitalized, italics.
Little average Judge. Have we all done? We've all done that. So we've got me and Luca and Aaron Hicks. Luke Tats is going to Aaron Judge. All right. The final one the Aaron Hicks Award. There he is. There's Aaron Hicks. I'll go last. Tats, who's your Aaron Hicks Award?
I wrote down a name, and I'm like, that might have been. It's not his fault because he was put in a position that he didn't really. Because I originally had Duvall. I'm like, dude probably woke up that morning not even expecting to go into a game. Never mind have to close it. And that was because the bench manager just completely had nothing left in the bullpen. I'm you know what? It's got to be Wells. I was trying to leave him alone with Judge with the L slot, but no, Hicks is the Wells. Wells is the Hicks Award. Wells is just, Judge is kind of MIA, but Wells is kind of he doesn't even leave his hotel room. I think it's a hologram behind the plate because he can't be that fucking bad.
Wow, incredibly, he is. I think he's worse than a hologram. What's he batting? 165 for a year? Dude was, let's see, hitless in the last two games against the Brewers. In the two games against the Brewers, he was hitless. Then he was hitless against Baltimore, hitless against the Mets in a game, hitless against the Blue Jays the entire series. Wow. I mean, that's fucking absurd. Absolutely absurd.
Is, according to Baseball Reference, his 2026 stat line. A negative .1 WAR, 115 at bats, 19 hits, 3 home runs. He's batting 165.
Just 5 RBIs? Still?
Pull up the let me pull the what's his RBIs?
Yes, it's still 5. 36 strikeouts, 5 RBIs.
5 RBIs. There are more players on the IL than Wells has RBIs.
That's amazing. Amazing. That's right. I mean, it makes Joey Gallo like frickin' Barry Bonds.
That's bad.
That's really bad. Really, really bad. Okay. Luca.
I'm going to go, as Healing Man Heart says, I'm actually going to say Aaron Judge. No show this series, and then his comments after the game with the double negative just threw me for a freaking loop.
Yeah, this is why we're the best podcast, because we don't have any biases. No matter how good you are, if you suck, you're going to be told that you suck. Over the course of that series, no one was a bigger deserving of the Aaron Hicks Award than Aaron Judge. How about 7 straight strikeouts from Aaron Judge? 7 straight. How do you get that? I don't care who you are. If you're Anthony Volpe, if that was Anthony Volpe, Twitter would have exploded, and I would have spontaneously combusted on air. 7 straight at bats with a strikeout. I don't care who you are. That's a disgrace. That's a complete disgrace. And
when you play better enough where Volpe doesn't get an L or a Hicks Award.
Yeah, but I mean, you're a walking deity amongst this Yankee fan base, as if none of you guys have seen really good players before. I mean, for a franchise that has that freaking retires numbers on an annual basis, and then you treat Aaron Judge like he's the greatest thing that you've ever seen in your entire life. Anyway, he deserves it, man. The fact that he's getting away with what he did in that series is a disgrace. There needs to be better standards here. 0 for 7, 7 strikeouts. He had a 4 strikeout game, and then he had a 3 strikeout game in the series alone. Shameful. He is the Aaron Hicks Award winner. And his attitude, Captain Birthday card. Oh, we'll get him next time. Like, I'm so sick of get him next time. Oh, it's right around the corner. It's the same stuff as Aaron Boone speaks. I'm so sick of it. Like, why can't you just be a little bit more tough? Why is it so against your being to be a little tough? Quit smirking. Quit being like, oh, don't do nothing. Oh, we'll get him next time. Like, how about you just own up going, I have not been leading this team the way it needs to be led. I apologize. And there's going to be some fireworks very, very soon. If you say that, then you're like, you're right. There's some accountability, but no, it's not. It's like, oh, we'll be right around the corner. We'll do it again. It's all good. Blah, blah, blah. I am so sick of that. He said the same thing, by the way, after he was a no-show again for the USA. Oh, I can't wait till we get him next time. Like, I'm so sick of hearing about next time. Right? Why not right now? It's right in front of you. Time? Yeah. It's right there in front of us.
That's why Brunson is the king of New York. He's seizing right now.
Because when the opportunity is available to you, you need to grab it. You can't just go, I didn't show up, but I'll get him next time. Well, that's great. But when is next time? So I'm so sick of hearing about next time. I'm so sick of hearing about it's right around the corner. Everything's fine. I'm so sick of that attitude. He has developed the same personality as Aaron Boone, and even to the point where Aaron Boone's even tougher than him. What's going on? What kind of parallel universe is Aaron Boone speaks tougher than Aaron Judge? What kind of insane universe are we in here? So he has to own this, man. He has to own this. He has to be better. He has to lead better. He has to focus less on Timberlands, focus less on beards, focus less on a third jersey, focus less on shit that doesn't matter, focus less on the DJ. How about focus on the team that's in front of you? Lead better, be better, lead from the front, be tougher. Stop smirking, be tougher, be angry at yourself. Show what it means to be blessed, to be a captain of the most important franchise in sports. Show that it matters. Show that it matters, please. But he doesn't, because it's right around the corner. It's, oh, we'll get him next time attitude. I'm sick of it. Never want to hear about it. So yeah, he is definitely the Aaron Hicks. Just a bad leader. He's as bad a leader as I've come across. Terrible leader. He has to be better.
Yeah.
And so I'm leaving this member comment here as we sign off. Who would have thought we would have come to wait till next year? Yankees, it's unbelievable. You're absolutely right. This has to, when is it going to stop? When?
Mm-hmm.
And under the regime that we have, it's not going to. This is what we're going to get.
I agree.
We can sweep, we can by some fucking miracle sweep the Rays. And Judge hit 800, and that what makes these awards the best segment in New York sports on radio and on YouTube. Because the next set of Aaron Judge can go from the Hicks Award to the MVP times 2.
Facts.
That's how fast. One, because that's how crazy we are. We judge everything in within those weekends, but in each series. So I think the next award segment we're going to do right at the beginning, and because one, it's such an in-depth conversation.
That's true.
And I think it needs. Normally we leave it for the end as the headliner, but I think it needs to be the focal point. That needs to be the jumping board. But with that, hope everybody does enjoy their holiday weekend.
I want to jump on TC and Healing Man's Heart saying Judge shows no emotion.
Well, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a difference between being stoic and leading with little emotion, but leading,
just lifeless,
or just somebody that just doesn't show any emotion. And Judge is the latter category, because we've seen Eli Manning. He didn't show much emotion, but he was stoic. And when the going gets tough, he led, baby. He led. Judge just doesn't show any emotion. And when the going gets tough, he shrinks. That's the difference. That's the big difference. I'm okay with him not showing any emotion, as long as it's kind of a stoic, tough, like you can tell it, a demeanor.
Yeah.
Just doesn't
like
have it.
Corey.
Yes, he just doesn't
His
have it.
facial expression never changed, but you always knew if he was happy or
Right.
pissed off.
Right. And Jeter didn't exactly show much emotion.
Jeter
Jeter didn't really show much emotion, but he was stoic. And you don't mess with him. But Judge just seems like Captain Cupcake, Captain Underpants. There's a difference.
That was great.
There is a difference. I don't feel it from Judge. I don't feel a leadership from him. I think from behind the scenes, I think when are there player-only meetings, Stanton usually does those meetings.
Right.
You know, Goldschmidt does those meetings. Bellinger does those meetings. Aaron Judge doesn't do those meetings. It says a lot about his poor leadership.
It's a fact.
All right, now we can sign off.
The fact is, this has been. The fact is, there's been another amazing show with all of you in the chat and everybody watching. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out with your friends, your family. The streamers on the corner. I'm Uncle Tats here with Donald, Luca. Everybody enjoy Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. Enjoy all the barbecues. Drive safely. And let's go Yankees. Wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.
Let's go.